the members are going crazy. It shows that you guys have a lively and wonderful community, which is all about. So we're excited.
Yes, everybody's so excited to be here today. Thank you so much. Ray, EcoCredit is absolutely an amazing community, fully engaged. I'm looking forward to some incredible questions and excited to go over what we're about to do to change the future of protection and authentication.
Absolutely, incredibly exciting stuff. I know personally when I first heard about what you guys were doing at Reveal, I got incredibly excited. There's phenomenal overlap occurring between what we're offering here at EcoCredit and what you guys are doing at Reveal. So absolutely super excited to get the community some more information regarding our partnership, your value proposition, and where that mutual overlap comes in. So with that in mind, just a little bit about the format for everyone listening in. We're going to run through some pre-scripted questions regarding the Reveal protocol and the overlap of value between what they're doing and what we're building here at EcoCredit. And after that, it should take about half an hour to 40 minutes, and then we're going to jump right in and we're going to have an open questions segment from the community where you guys can ask anything your heart desires regarding what Reveal's about, how you see them changing the world and what they're doing. And Adam and Mo will pick their top 5 favorite questions, and the winners will get a reward for their prescient insight and inquiries. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and jump right in. You guys ready?
Absolutely.
Born ready, my friend. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Let's jump right in. And just in your own words, can you tell us a little bit about Reveal Protocol, what you guys do, and what it's all about?
Absolutely. So, Reveal is a platform that is really was created out of necessity. Realizing that many of the people that have been in the space a long time, unfortunately, been scammed. You've had the opportunity to be involved in new ICOs or an IDO, or you're involved in an NFT drop, and we don't mean it, but we get involved because we're excited. We ape into something, and before you know it, we connect to a website that has a wallet. We lose money. We end up in copy websites on OpenSea. We end up on projects that are rug pulls, and it's sad because they take advantage of unsuspecting people. So, Reveal has created a platform and a protocol that allows us to be able to provide a peace of mind or an invisible shield of protection around those that want to get in this space, starting with the ability to authenticate and protect NFT digital media assets that are both on an NFT marketplace to start with, into gaming platforms, and all the way into the metaverse. And we want to be able to provide value to communities like yours and be able to literally go into a space where you can really walk in the door and know that you have, say, an example, a Norton 360 running in the background on your computer. Think of us as Reveal 360 for the protection from here, metaverse, and beyond.
Fantastic. And that's absolutely something that I think, unfortunately, you're correct. The vast majority of people in this industry have experienced, fraudulent activity, scams, even look-alike projects that are made to hijack the legitimacy of well-meaning communities and teams that ultimately, unfortunately, serve to prey on unsuspecting users. So it's absolutely crucial what you guys are doing. Definitely something to be commended that's going to serve as a big milestone to help to advance the overall industry. But with that in mind, we hear a lot about blockchain, a lot about immutability, and the exciting things that this technology can bring to the world and finance and just all sorts of industries. So, can you tell us a bit about why blockchain in its own right is not enough to secure NFTs for users?
Yeah, just to get in what touching up on what Adam said is so true. And in this space, a lot of people, unfortunately, you know what? Just going back, I was watching Kevin O'Leary. He said his first time he lost $56,000 in crypto, and he was kind of given it the badge of honor. If you're new in crypto, you ought to you be ready to get hacked or scammed or lose something. But that doesn't have to be, because with the technology we have these days in OpenSea, in all these different projects that are building, security unfortunately is the farthest thing in their mind. But we have multi-billion-dollar industries There's Norton, McAfee, Avast. They have built so absolutely amazing technologies to secure people, and nobody really knows what they do unless you're really techie. You just know it works. So turn it on, it protects you, and you're good. However, with the blockchain, a lot of these people ask us, do you have competition? We have one or two, but they're not really doing anything we're doing, but they're doing some similar on the blockchain. But we go in pre-IPFS level before minting to be able to integrate our technology with that project or whatever it is, or going on to the metaverse. It will be a bit different. We could show you guys, we could tell you guys about what we got coming up is absolutely amazing. So one of the things we want to say is we are blockchain agnostic. So when you put in any kind of blockchain, we don't have to worry about, well, am I compatible? Your technology be compatible to not the coin itself, but the actual technology is blockchain agnostic. That answers your question. So we could work with any blockchain out there.
Fantastic, and it makes sense. So much in this industry starts at a blockchain level, but accessing any blockchain ecosystem starts before that. It starts with turning on your computer, getting access to the internet, and all of these blockchains, of course, in their inception, start with the issuance of the chain itself. Just like these NFT projects start with the issuance of the NFT. So it makes complete sense that you start from that kernel, that base level at issuance, not only to ensure that you have immutable protection beyond the blockchain, but also that it's blockchain agnostic and you're able to touch the entire ecosystem, providing that level of deep value in one fell swoop. So with that in mind, this technology is comparatively esoteric. Anyone who's maybe read the news today has seen the unfortunate revelation that the Luna protocol has had a crucial malfunction in terms of its UST peg. So we're really in the early stages of blockchain and what Web3 has to offer to the world. So with that in mind, how do you see REV3AL technology helping this journey of wider crypto and blockchain adoption?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you look at what's happening with Terra Luna, it's unfortunate that you have a massive ecosystem and you have a lot of people that are really, you know, supporting their protocol, their model, but when they start to see something like a stable coin become unstable, the foundation that builds into the idea of a stable coin gets shook into the core, that people are now worried, right? Like, what about my USDT? What about my USDC? What about my DAI? What else could go wrong? Because I specifically put this into a stable coin because I want it to be stable. And so that destabilization of having this happen kind of puts a little bit of fear in people's mind. And with REV3AL, we're trying to put a peace of mind and a comfort back into knowing that someone's there to have their back. Someone's there to help against rug pulls, to provide some way to protect in the NFT space. Now, understand, guys, we don't protect the DeFi space, right? We're not protect. We will work with partners in regards to payment processors and some of the platforms that we work with. But in regards to what we specifically, or from a security perspective, we are protecting people that are worried about either rug pulls or making sure they're buying something that's authentic, that it's holding its value over time. And, you know, I mean, but the general idea of this is the rising tide raises all ships. So if we can put an awareness to security concerns across the board in any digital asset, we believe that developers in the community will really look at that as a spotlight of what's happening and say, hey, look, we need to bring this into DeFi. We need to protect people. And I hate to say it as a DGen, decentralization is what I'm all about. I'm all about being free and libertarian and open. But when we're going to appeal to the masses and you want to put true security, there has to be a small level of centralization. I can barely say the word, but it's true. And that's what's missing on a lot of these DeFi platforms, is the level of security required from true centralization. I guess that'd be my best way to answer that.
Absolutely, and that's a fantastic answer, and it makes a lot of sense. Giving individuals the opportunity, but not the obligation, to interact with semi-centralized or centralized systems that aren't antagonistic but complement blockchain architecture is a fantastic way to have the marriage of both security, but also freedom of innovation. And so it's fantastic what you guys are doing over at REV3AL. Really, as you mentioned, these giant cybersecurity firms such as Norton and McAfee, it's really interesting to see. And as you alluded to, we don't have such things in Web3 yet. So while most protocols and most entities are standing around kind of looking, we really can't run until we learn to walk and we learn to crawl. And it's great to see you guys are already making fantastic strides. So you've already jumped past the crawling phase and are making great steps towards helping to revolutionize the security standards that we see in Web3. It's absolutely much needed. So with that in mind, you guys are obviously incredibly well informed. You're an incredibly smart and competent team with a great backing. What led you guys to develop such crucial and interesting technology at REV3AL?
Adam, do you want to take this? I'm just ordering something quick.
Yeah, I could take that, sure. So basically, going back to, yeah, I'll go with my background to start with, just so kind of backtrack a little bit. So my background was cybersecurity. It was vulnerability and risk assessment. I would go into a company and we would basically see, we'd bring our white hackers in, we'd see what the vulnerability is, and then we would then sell them what's needed to protect their enterprise, right? So having that background and then getting involved in 2014, we helped raise capital for a company called First Contact Entertainment. They did a Sony Firewall 0 Hour, first VR PlayStation game, and also the Walking Dead virtual reality experience. I got really hooked on virtual reality, augmented reality in that space. And then in 2016 is when we ventured into the blockchain space. We went feet first. We got involved as investors, then as advisors, and then thought leaders in the industry, and just staying in the forefront of emerging technology and where it was going. And being through all these scams that we went through, about a year ago, we were working with one of the other partners and understanding graphic security, cybersecurity, and seeing that there's this huge hole in the space. Realizing that OpenSea, we had a platform that was called Political Punks, and the kids are 17 years old, and they dropped basically they recreated CryptoPunks in currently and historically significant figures, and they created literally 500 political punks. And through that process, they actually made $5 million in about a little over a month. But at the beginning, they got scammed. They put up their platform and they were scammed all over the place. They were scammed. Multiple people recreated the website. They had recreations on their OpenSea on the platform. And when they tried to get something resolved, OpenSea came back and said, well, we're backlogged. It's going to take you a couple of weeks. And in the meantime, they're losing money left and right. And then, of course, they came back and said, oh, we'll give you, some of the gas fees that were lost. So there was no real, way to come back and protect yourself. So we're like, hey, we need to create something that's interactive, that makes security sexy again, that allows us to be able to put protection and give people a peace of mind. So that's where REV3AL was created, out of the idea that authentication is important, because minting, through the NFT minting process, what you're doing is creating ownership, provenance of ownership, history of ownership. But if you start off with a fraud and then you own it and then you resell it, you're still reselling a fraud. Even if you try to protect it, it's still a fraud. So we have to go into it and realize that we need to check to see what's real to begin with, make sure it's real. We then are able to put a fingerprint, if you will, on it at the metadata level, at the underlining level prior to it being minted, and then it can be anytime later authenticated and allows us to validate creation. And that was the part that was missing. The validation of creation, the validation that what you are actually buying is true and it's authentic. I hope that helps. And then when I go into the metaverse, we go even further down the road in the invisible shield of protection as you venture through the digital economy in the future as well.
That is phenomenal and incredibly informative. That's absolutely something we need, and it's disheartening to hear that a nascent protocol like that could end up in a situation where they're basically at the behest of a larger institution that cares, but unfortunately doesn't have the capacity to assist them in the timely manner they need, ultimately negatively impacting users and, of course, the overall trust and growth trajectory of the space. So that definitely helps to inform what you guys are bringing to the table in terms of background, in terms of acumen, in, and in terms of insights relative to the unique needs that we have in the industry. So with that in mind, I'm sure by now everyone listening in or is listening to this after the fact is incredibly interested in what you guys are bringing to the table and sees the dire need for what you're building. With that in mind, my next question comes in the form of, how do we get involved? Does the Reveal ecosystem have a native token? If so, how is this token used?
Sure, I can answer that. I just want to make sure. Mo, are you somewhere where you're able to talk by chance?
I'm just getting home. It's a little. Just give me about 2 minutes, and I'll be at home.
Okay, no worries. I can answer that. Yeah, so not financial advice for anybody on the line. Obviously, EcoCredit, we're very excited about what they're doing to make the world a better place through carbon credit and carbon credit footprint that allows us to be able to, give back to our planet, which I think is amazing. And so because of that, and being part of Ray's community, we are offering the opportunity to participate in the Reveal token. We are doing a token launch. We actually have done some launch pads already. We do have, of course, detailed tokenomics, and we can explain just a little bit about, the Reveal token, a little of the utility, and the tokenomics. So just real basic. We have 1 billion tokens, and we are currently going to be listing on major exchanges. We had 4 rounds. And again, this is not financial advice. It's not for any U.S. citizens. This is outside of the U.S. But we are providing. There was a private round. 20% of the total supply was out into the private, and that was 200 million tokens. 4 rounds, and it was 1 cent, 2.5, 1.5 to 2.5 cents per round. We closed out a seed round, private 1. We're about to close out private 2. We used the launch pads for the final round, and we're going to be rolling at that same price point, 2.5 cents, out to the major exchanges. What gets us most excited is that we brought in tokenomic experts to come up with our tokenomics, and we believe we have some of the best tokenomics out there. So at the day 1 of our TGE, we will be under 1 million circulating supply market cap, which is the most important number to look at when you look at a project, is the actual amount. If every person can possibly dump their tokens onto the market, and we're going to give people incentives to have diamond hands, we're going to give them incentives to be able to lock those tokens up for a period of time. We'll give them staking rewards, which we'll be rolling out, and that whole thing. But in regards to every person that could release on day 1, we're literally less than 1 million market cap circulating supply from day 1. So now the Reveal utility, we actually are, every single time somebody integrates our technology, whether that be on an NFT marketplace to protect every single asset on a drop, and or an avatar, and every time you try to authenticate anything into the metaverse in the future, we will be creating a Reveal ID, which will then burn part of the deflationary model of our token, which will then go through a consensus layer for multiple different protocols. So there's security layers. Those security layers will actually protect the authentication process from a high-level military-grade encryption. And so the utility obviously is born out of that model. So we can obviously give you guys more detailed information on the Telegram. We'll provide a link tree which has all the details of our public deck, our white paper, our tokenomics, and so on. Hope that answers your question.
Absolutely, that is fantastic, and absolutely things we love to see. Here at EcoCredit, of course, we had a similar approach. We wanted to make the token price as reasonable as possible despite the poor market conditions, while ensuring that, of course, we have enough to get the project off the ground and have it running on its own 2 feet. So inclusion is absolutely something we're focused on, and I'd love to hear that the Reveal team is as well. And in terms of token utility, the deflationary tokenomics is something that's very popular, and for great reason. It's the opposite of what we're seeing in most of the world's major economies, massive inflation. So that's very exciting. And definitely something that I'd imagine, maybe unlike a Dogecoin clone project that has some really nice art and is really fun and community focused, that's something that can be spun up relatively quickly as you're describing the protocol and the community and everything cropping up and that you're building as it pertains to Reveal, it doesn't sound like something that you can have done by, let's say, next week. It sounds like something that will take some time to implement. So with that in mind, how do you see not only the Reveal protocol, but the recent innovations in the crypto and blockchain industries all evolving and percolating together over the next, let's say, 2-year time horizon?
I would say that you're saying how we just to clarify, are you saying how
Yeah,
we're
yeah. Can you repeat that
innovating
question?
the blockchain? Yeah,
Yeah,
if you could repeat it,
can
because
you
I think
repeat
Mo
that
just got
question?
back online,
Cool. Yeah,
would be
absolutely.
great.
No worries. And we can even cut it into two questions just to laser focus in on Reveal and then talk about the broader industry. How do you guys see your roadmap for the next 2 years, let's say?
Yeah, I could get jump on that. Adam's doing a wonderful job. I was listening to him. I was just allowed to get on, and it was wonderful hearing the great things you guys talk about. Because here's the thing: one of the things that I've noticed in this industry, nobody really talks about security. Nobody talks about what we could do to make people safe, and we know it's a huge need. And our ambitions and our roadmap is very ambitious because we got some very big as we are very excited to partner with uh, with your EcoCredit uh, community. We have absolutely partnered with some of the biggest metaverse companies in the world, and like one of our guys, Alan Smithson, bringing we bought 100 story 100 floor mall with up to 1 million square feet buildable, so it's 100 million square feet for the whole mall. It's a luxury mall with all the top 10 levels, all the top brands you could name of. We bought a full floor, Adam and I and a partner, and we're not just going to protect the mall with Reveal. We're also putting utility into the floor we bought as well. So we can't really go on it. We haven't put it on our roadmap, but that's something we are developers. You know what? One thing is our guys are always mad at us because we're always telling them we want to add more things in the future. And we know it's costly, but we understand that the future is in the metaverse. And we have heavily focused on the metaverse, protecting avatars coming out the worlds. We understand there's going to be malicious codes that people getting in and out the worlds, they're going to be hugely compromised. You never know what they could bring into your world. And so we also save the world's money and save the people as well, because one of the things we want to do is on our roadmap, when you are into that metaverse, we don't want you going to open sea third party platforms to authenticate that this is real and wise. We want to make sure you're there as long as possible. You don't have to go check the registry, have check the address, and come back and make sure that it's all right. We'll have the reveal check mark. And a cool thing we got also is going into being able to partner with some amazing projects. One being called the Otherverse, having thousands of worlds already made. The gentleman named Brian Schuster has got 77 critical patents in the metaverse. Just to let you know who his partners are in those patents is SoftBank and Fortress, two of the biggest banks in the world. Just to set precedent, he has sued Epic, which is for Fortnite, which runs Epic, and they've won just by infringing on one of his patents. So we're working to protect his world. Also, he's an advisor on ours, and so is Alan Smithson with the mall. This guy is the godfather of VR/XR augmented reality, and we realize going into the metaverse is going to be huge. Adam could just touch up on. I know he came up with the idea of the drone being able to be put out of your wallet pocket in the metaverse and screening somebody and giving you an answer. He could go more into that. And also, we got that's our 2-year plan to be more heavily involved in the metaverse. However, we want to make sure our MVP is done. We want to do our MVPs done by the end of the summer, and also being able to have our CVP closer to first quarter of next year, first to end of first quarter of next year. So those are main targets. We want to make sure we stay on course. However, we do got a very ambitious roadmap coming up.
Yeah, I can add to that, Ray. It's a great question about roadmap. So, from a product rollout perspective, our first MVP model will be about 3 to 4 months from now, probably the beginning of this coming year, we'll have the beginning of the Reveal protocol, the API that allows to plug into NFT marketplaces, which will then also go into the gaming platforms in the metaverse as we roll into a CVP. And then, of course, we're going to provide the Reveal 360 protection on the build out. And then inside of that build out, we'll have we'll call it an invisible shield of protection, where we do own a floor on the mall of the metaverse is owned by a company called Metaverse, METAVRSE. And Metaverse is basically, you look at Unity and you look at Unreal Engine, they're the enterprise version of a game engine for building out brand showcase photorealistic VR, XR, AR environment. Just the coolest stuff ever. I'll drop something on here. I'll share you guys a demo of the drone. And our future vision is we are building a sandbox inside of 1 million square feet in the mall, which will allow us to be able to work with multiple metaverses to create interoperability security standards between going from one metaverse into the other, as well as authenticating assets inside of that metaverse. So as an example, let's just say hypothetically you had a avatar, and we're in talks with ReadyPlayer.me right now. I use that's where the BitDragon logo. That's not just a logo, by the way, or a PFP. That actually is wireframed, rigged, that goes into 200 different metaverses or platforms and chat rooms, VR chat rooms, which is ReadyPlayer.me. It's pretty amazing. And when we look at the future of the avatar is going to be your identity. So we're going to go one step further, where there's going to be proof of identity, proof of existence. So we're going to be able to go in and say, hey, are you talking to AI, or are you talking to a person? Are you talking to a 13-year-old looking avatar that's a 50-year-old man in a 13-year-old girl's body? Are you communicating with someone who's wearing a Bored Ape Yacht Club jacket with a pair of $200,000, Nike Air shoes and a fake Rolex or Fred Mueller watch on their arm, and we'll be able to reach in your pocket, throw up a drone, and then be able to scan down over you and say, hey, this guy, he's a fraud, right? So we're going to be able to, down the road, we're going to be able to protect digital assets and authenticate them, whether they be on a wall, you're wearing them, the digital land you're standing on, we'll be able to authenticate it. And it's another level. It's definitely another level of excitement that we're trying to bring the sexy back in security, because it's kind of boring, When you think of Norton antivirus, or you think of McAfee, when you think of the word Norton or McAfee, you thought about it only because it had the word antivirus after it. You guys really didn't know what Norton or McAfee was. So to come to the table now, you're going to Reveal as a standard. And I like to say the way to explain what Reveal is, if you've ever bought a diamond, and if you haven't, that's okay. The worldwide standard for diamonds is the Gia Certificate. In order to validate it, they laser etch a number on the side of the diamond, and that has to match a certificate that matches a registry. And if all of that matches, well, then you have a VS1 or an S1. You've covered the cut, clarity, and color of the diamond, and now you have a value that's a standard around the world. Same thing if you've ever bought playing cards. You bought baseball cards or any type of a sports card. You use a PSA. A PSA is a standard. It's a worldwide standard in the valuation on a holographic ID number that matches a registry. Well, we're going to have the same thing. We're going to have this protected registry. We can cross-reference and validate. And so think of us as the digital equivalent of a GIA certificate for a diamond is the best way to think of us. And so we're going to start at the beginning. We're going to start where we're at, which is building out the protocol, getting started with our partners, which is both Hedera as well as Near Protocol. And we're also partnering with multiple other Binance Smart Chain, and down the road, even Polygon and Ethereum. And we have about 50 plus partners right now. We're building out an ecosystem that's going to really just stretch a huge broad spectrum of everything from gaming, metaverse, all the way into oracles and charitable platforms that we give back to. And we're looking at where the future of fractionalized real estate is going, and we're even working with a partner that actually is going to be the Zillow of the future of digital real estate and launch pads, and we can go on and on. But what the key is that we see that we got to continually evolve as the future evolves, and that's kind of like we're forever going on our roadmap. But that's kind of, hope that answers your question.
That was phenomenal. Absolutely. It answered the 2-year, the 5-year, and the beyond roadmap, which is something that we're definitely curious about here. And you heard it here first, folks. We're talking a floor in a 100-story mall. We're talking about digital identification. These are all incredibly tangible things. Anyone listening who may think, well, it's just digital goods. How valuable could they possibly be? Just looking at the fake goods market globally, so fake Versace, fake Gucci, fake Supreme items, that is a $450 billion market per year. It is gargantuan. So this is something that folks have been taking advantage of for years, is the likeness of these large brands. So this is something that's absolutely crucial. And I love, Adam, that you mentioned the fact that these diamonds around the world, they have a coding standard. They have a way to have something that's not on the blockchain. It is an off-chain verification mechanism, because that is exactly what we see in the voluntary carbon credit market. We have, and as we should, we need verification as it pertains to the quality, the content, and the tonnage of each carbon credit issued. So with that in mind, I'd like to pivot just slightly here and talk a little bit about things that are pertaining to more of the natural world, and a bit about how the REV3AL technology intersects with the EcoCREDIT value proposition, what you guys are doing, and where that mutual value overlap really comes into play. But first, starting at a very high level overview, a bit of a maybe personal, potential philosophical question as it relates to our industry that we all share. How do you see the development of blockchain and crypto? Do you see it more as a net positive for our natural world, or maybe something that needs to be more thoughtfully curtailed and implemented in more piecemeal? What do you guys think?
I mean, I think that the future of cryptocurrency, people are very, very conscientious of a green footprint. Having a, look, at the end of the day, it's our children and the planet are our future, right? So how we treat our planet and how we treat our children. And so that's why we have a charitable aspect of our token. 4% goes back to different platforms, and we're working with EcoCREDITs as well on that model. I would say that Hedera, which one of the reasons why we partnered with Hedera, because they're ecologically, environmentally friendly, green platform to build from. Not to mention they have 26 of the biggest corporations in the world that they run their nodes from, which is pretty amazing, such as Google and LG and Deutsche Telekom, Boeing. You name it. There's DBS Singapore, Standard Chartered Bank, and Ubisoft, and the list goes on and on. But the key is that I think that more and more, as it becomes an awareness that it's important, because Bitcoin mining with proof of stake, anything that's proof of stake that takes energy, they're even starting to say, hey, look, let's use hydroelectric, or let's use wind, or let's use solar to create that energy footprint and be able to not have to, destroy our earth. I mean, we are looking to develop technologies around the world that are just making it easier for people to, give back. With the carbon credit is a perfect example. With an NFT, you're creating a way you can give back, and you can be involved at a low level, because unfortunately previously you would have to be at a quite high level to even get involved in have anything to do with carbon credits. At a sovereign level, at a government level, it's not an easy thing to get involved with. So being able to break that down to bite-sized achievable chunks and fractionalize that and be able to do what EcoCREDIT's doing is absolutely phenomenal. And, and I see that more platforms, we work with EcoWatts and we work with some other platforms that are also in the EcoCREDIT side of it, or the carbon credit footprint side of it. But I do think that a lot of platforms are starting to go to proof of stake versus proof of work. And I think that they're becoming more green and environmentally conscientious, and the awareness is up to us to bring it to everyone's, the forefront of the conversation. And so that's what these conversations are about. It's about bringing this extremely important awareness to the forefront of the conversation. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
Absolutely, and that's the fantastic line of thought there. Proof of work currencies being huge gas guzzlers, to turn a phrase there, huge energy consumers. It's definitely something that's caught the eye of not just the industry as a whole, but also outside of the crypto and blockchain industry. So it's fantastic to know that you guys have that sustainability and charitable initiative just baked, hard coded into the protocol. That's something we're seeing more of. Normally not to the tune of 4%. We got a little feedback there, but not to the tune of 4%. So with that in mind, that is incredibly encouraging. And as well, with Hedera being a carbon negative, if you look at their documentation, they actually remove carbon from the atmosphere. A protocol such as that is a fantastic contender for a more ecologically sustainable. Arma, if you could just keep your mic muted, please, sir. That was a surprising feedback. I'm gonna turn your volume down there, friend. Yeah, but with that in mind, definitely something that we'd love to see. So with that in mind, Adam, you mentioned quite presciently that diamonds have this verification process by which they utilize to ensure their integrity and their authenticity. Similarly, as I mentioned, carbon credits have the same thing. We have entities such as Vera and Gold Standard that confirm that, hey, these are legitimate carbon credits. The projects are on the ground, planting trees, keeping trees from being removed from the ground, remediating wetlands, and all sorts of things. So with that in mind, with the fact that we have a off-chain verification system, and then we, EcoCredit, bring them on-chain, can you just touch a little bit on the potential value overlap as to how REVEAL can potentially help EcoCredit ensure that, hey, when we issue a carbon credit on-chain, no one can come behind us and maybe try and issue something that's a lookalike and try and get a once-over on not only the overall ecosystem, but the environment as well?
Sure, sure. I think that when you look at what you guys are doing over at EcoCredit, which is phenomenal. I was involved in a platform a while back called Earth 2, and Earth 2, you guys are like Earth 2 on steroids, which is which is giving much more value back to your people and giving access to the ownership of the digital land, if you will. That then you're providing a carbon credit fractionalization ownership, if you will, that would, like you mentioned earlier, be easily duplicated, unfortunately, because it's really hard to authenticate it because the average person has no idea where to go, and they wouldn't know what those standards are, by the way, right? Like the gold standard and eco credits, they would have to literally Google it because they wouldn't know because it's not a standard conversation about carbon credits. And so, when we put our stamp on it, it's really going to be based on the value of REVEAL being that Norton 360 of credibility where you don't even have to think about it. You just know that if it has our security on it, we've already gone through that authentication process to make sure when we put the REVEAL stamp or REVEAL invisible digital watermark on it, that it has already been authenticated. There really is real carbon credits behind it. We do have the confirmation that we have something that you as a person that's buying doesn't have to think about it, right? You just know, okay, well, it's protected by REVEAL. It's good. We know it's good. Because let's face it, you really can't go question GIA certificate because you're not a gemologist and you don't have, a standard protocol of checking something out. It's kind of like trying to go check out the chain analysis that it takes to go check on OpenSea and then go click on an address and then go to the smart contract and then look at the fungible token and look at the actual contract address. The average person has no idea what I'm talking about. They don't know about layer 0, layer 1, layer 2, web 1, web 2, web 3. Then honestly, they don't care, right? They don't really care about blockchain. The degens do. The average person doesn't. So when it comes to carbon credits, they just want to know that they're doing something good and that it's protected and it's real. So as long as we can put that stamp on there to say, we've gone through this process, we've authenticated it, and it has that on there, I think there'd be a peace of mind and to knowing that they don't have to worry about it. It's already been done. So I think that's where we come in. And of course, in regards to providing really cool scavenger hunts that we're going to do, where we're going to be able to have, different value adds between the two companies as partnerships. And we're just super excited to work with Eco Credits and really help them. Rising tide raises all ships. So we help them, they help us, we all help each other. And I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely. So
Absolutely. As just wanted to add on to that, what Adam was saying is what we got. We also talked to our talk to our devs as well, and also what we're building as a back office is be able to be stake EcoCredit tokens as well to reveal and vice versa. And also what Ray was talking about with us is having some really fun gamified community-based adventurous awards. So make it gamified, make it fun, make it community-centered, and we believe between the two companies we could do really great things. Right now, as Adam was saying, we have 52 partnerships. We just brought on some of the most incredible advisory boards. We could set our Mauricio will set our Telegram and Twitter and all that sort of stuff. You can check it out with our website. We got brought on two guys that are got in early, in their 30s. One is in his 20s, done significant amount. They're worth 10 or 10 figures, I don't know, billion, whatever that is. Done incredible things in their industry. However, they have massive influences. We got Mario Narfal, one of the most incredible people in the industry as well. If you look at our advising stack, it's just I've been in this game with Adam for a long time, advised over 30 different companies myself. Besides co-founding a REV3AL, I've never seen an advisory board so stacked. It's absolutely beyond Mr. Key, that's been in since 2013, owns Forward Protocol with 300 partners. And we'd like to, one of our new advisors, we just came to very grateful and very excited about Mr. Ray Button. Jack, be able to join an advisory list. We've found so much. He's just gives so much value as a man of ethics, and so is the rest of the team. Unfortunately, we want to meet the rest, and we had more encounters with Ray. It's just he's such a quality human being, and we see what you do with your project here and your community, and we're definitely in favor of doing whatever we can. Like Adam says, a rising tide raises all ships. So we want to be able to be more cohesive, more collaborative. How we can get these two ecosystems to the next level, and that's what it is all about. Not about competition, but about collaboration. And we want to thank you, sir, for putting this on. I don't know if there's any questions from the community. We'd love to answer that.
Absolutely. Thank you for the kind words and the praise, gentlemen. It's fantastic collaborating with you all thus far, and you guys are dropping some fantastic alpha for the community to take advantage of. Huge things on the horizon. Both within EcoCREDIT, within the REV3AL protocol, but put those two things together and we have some absolute magic happening. So with that in mind, Mo, you hit the nail on the head. We're going to segue nicely into the community question section. So with that in mind, we're going to open up the chat. We're going to allow the community to ask whatever questions they so desire. And from there, if you guys would like to pick your top 5 favorite questions, we can answer those. And those lucky individuals who have their questions selected will receive a prize for their prescient insights. So let's go ahead and jump right in and open up that chat. How do we do
Hello?
that?
Okay. Can you hear me? I have a question, guys. Yo, are you guys hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
So is Revival only for the NFTs or other projects as well? The Revival.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Like say is Revival Tech only for NFTs or other projects as well?
No, we're actually going to be protecting avatars and the metaverse and the worlds as well. So it's not just going to be NFTs. Good question though.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, it's very great.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey guys, if we can perhaps, because we have some individuals talking over each other, if we can roll with the a written AMA format. So if you guys want to write out your questions, that would allow Adam and Mo to select the best of the best, and we can roll from there. Then it'll be a bit more streamlined and cohesive. So if you guys want to get to typing, we can go from there.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so while you guys are working on that, while you guys are getting your questions written down, let's have a couple interesting questions, a couple fun ones. So Mo, Adam, get ready for the hard hitting questions, journalistic style. What's your favorite biome? Since we're talking about the natural world, of course, we deal a lot with nature and ecology, and everyone has a favorite vacation place, whether it's the mountains or out there on the lake or out there at the beach. So if you had to pick your optimal location, where would that be?
You know, you know what? This is not going to be fair. You said there's not going to be huge, very hard questions, and this is one of those ones that is absolutely one that takes the reign at being hard, because being all over the world, just one place, I would still have to say Bali. I love Bali with nature, with the people. Been there 3 times, and I want to go back. Not just because the environment, the nature, the energy, but it's the people's vibes. They're so humble. They're so happy. They bow to you, and they just are such content people. I went to a wedding. A wedding. It seemed like a wedding. It was a funeral, and I saw this. There's a big. I'll tell you why I really love this culture. There was a big smoke coming out, and there was a bunch of people gathered in the park. Like, I would say at least like 900 to 1,000 people. So I told the tour bus, just stop. We want to go check it out. So I got out and I went, and there was something being burnt inside a big. It was like a huge incinerator. I didn't know what it was inside, and people were laughing and were partying and they were happy. And I'm like, man, that doesn't, it smelled really bad. So I didn't know what it was in there. I said, what are you guys celebrating? It's like, no, man, it's we're celebrating my wife's death. She passed away yesterday. I said, I'm so sorry. I said, why are you sorry? She's gone to a better place. And I said, wow, these people have just so little, but they have so much contentment, joy, which now brings me back to where we live. Adam lives in Miami. I live in Vancouver. I'm a resident of Dubai. People have everything they would need, but they're not content. You don't see that happiness. You see a lot of stress, especially in the States more than Dubai, but or Canada. But what I'm saying is, if you guys haven't gone to Bali, definitely recommend going there. It's just such beautiful energy, beautiful people, and yeah, you can't go wrong with there. That's my one of my favorite place, besides Dubai, of course. But Bali would be my number one. How about you, Adam?
It's a great question. Are we trying to say places that we want to go to, or places that we've been to, or either or?
I'll say anywhere in the world, even if it looks good on Google Earth. That's a fine contendant.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, you got to look at it two ways, right? It's one is to go somewhere where you are able to just get away from everything, and the other one is to go in the middle of everything, right? So, like, what is it that you really want to do? God, if I were to say where I want to go right now, I would have to say, um, I really want to go to, um, I want to go to Singapore, actually. I hear that the technology and things that are going on over there, and the level of being able to enjoy the nightlife is insane in Singapore. It's supposed to be incredible. So I'd like to go to Singapore. I haven't been there yet. Of course, Bali is amazing for relaxing, just getting away, and one of those little huts, with a glass floor, and just kind of just chilling in the middle of nowhere is it's like Fiji or Bali, kind of in that model. Um, but yeah, I mean that'd probably be where I'd go. I'd go to Singapore. I mean, I'm probably headed out to Australia soon, so that's on a bucket list. But Singapore is an amazing place. And there's some beautiful places like Scotland and New Zealand and Greenland and places like that as well, which I'd love to go to, and I will be going to soon to visit you out there in New Zealand. And but yeah, I mean that would be just top of my head. I mean I've been to a lot of other places, but that's some places I'd like to go.
Fantastic. And yeah, Mo, you kind of hit the nail on the head there, man, in terms of it being one of those really difficult questions, unexpectedly so as well. And those are fantastic answers from, Bali to Singapore, from Greenland to Spain, where you guys are, Miami and Vancouver. These are some beautiful places with some fantastic things to offer. And it is a surprisingly difficult question. But with that in mind, this is also something that pertains to our natural world. Every one of these locales has its own unique ecology to offer. And that's really what we're all about, is making sure that's going to be there for our children and our children's children's children, which is just invaluable and something that's hard to put into words. But with that in mind, we've had some amazing things.
Before you go to that, can
Yeah,
I
for sure.
just touch on what you said? You said something very profound. I want to make sure I can elaborate and expand on it. So you said something really key that I believe we talked about together, and you believe the same thing as we do. We don't look at, a lot of people say, Mo, why did you guys being found, you could have started any company long ago. You could have started a metaverse company, sold a bunch of land, made a bunch of money, then focused on something else later. You could have both sold a bunch of NFTs. You got a big influence. Why do you have to come in and start Reveal? And one of the things I want to say is I believe even with EcoCREDIT and Reveal, which you said, we are looking for 5 to 10 years down the line. I don't even care. Like we talked to Adam the other day, we don't care where the market's up, down, what it's doing. We're building 5 years in. We have a huge vision long term. As you said, we want to pass this on not just to our families. We want to be able to generations being able to benefit and bear the fruits and reap the rewards of what we've been able to put forth. And let's say this industry, just to everybody that's here, just to be very straight, this industry is not going to go forward if we don't get protection, we don't put in things, mechanisms to protect people. Well, the regulators and three-letter agencies will come in and enforce it for us. However, we're not the police or the cop of the metaverse. We're the protectors. And what you guys are doing, I believe, is hand in glove, because it just goes so well hearing Ray and his vision, what the company is planning to build years from now. And when you said what our kids will be able to bear and what our families in the long term, and this is what we want. We're all building for our families in the long term, and we believe the crypto community is our family, and we want to bring something wonderful, something beautiful, and something that they could absolutely use and be able to utilize and stay safe and save people millions of money. For me personally, protecting the banks and big guys, you know what? It's part of the business. But what really gets my juices flowing and really passionate, it was about that student that has his or her student loan and put the last $5,000 on an NFT or been onto a world, but he cannot lose what money is on his wallet. That's what really drives me, to help the low people, the newbies, not lose, but also stay safe and protected. Because let's just be very real. If one of us, I always say this, lost 400, let's say $200, your phone bill charge you an extra, your phone carrier charge you an extra $200. I don't care who you are, how much money you have. You're gonna be on that phone. You're gonna call them. You're gonna go through all the rigorous phones and customer service, and you're gonna tell them you want your money back. But there's millions of people every month being scammed. They're taking advantage of a rug pull. No one's there to help them. So we believe with Reveal ecosystem, we can just elaborate. It won't just be NFTs, metaverse. We're going to protect this this industry, because we understand where we need to go and what we need to do, one step at a time. So we know we got our roadmap, we got our vision, we got our big picture. We really are passionate about this subject. So I just wanted to touch that on, Ray.
Absolutely, no worries there, and incredibly well said. That's exactly the ethos we embody at EcoCREDIT as well. It reminds me of the quote: "If you want to go fast, you go alone, but if you want to go far, you go together." And that's something that we've seen the most successful projects, both within and outside of crypto, embody, is a collaborative co-opetition rather than just pure competition of trying to get a once-over on whatever they can in order to get ahead. And ultimately, that's how we grow, not only sustainably in business, but as a society. And so it's phenomenal to hear that you guys are so passionate about what you're doing. And there are individuals such as yourselves who share in that ethos of sustainability, both in ecology and in action, and in terms of economics. So it's wonderful to see. And with that in mind, I think everyone would agree in the chat. We have some fantastic, well thought out questions that are labeled here, and I'll go ahead and open up the floor to you guys if you guys want to pick out, 5 or maybe even more if you so desire. I know we're kind of coming up on about an hour here, but if you want to pick out the top 5 questions and just touch on those, that would be fantastic. I know the community would very much appreciate it.
Sure, Ray. I'm just looking through the questions now. Give me a moment.
So one of the questions is, how do we get the word out of Reveal? Very good question. Being in the industry for so long, we understand marketing is the backbone of every project. You could have the best product in the world, but nobody knows about it, especially in crypto. It's all about news, and it's all about hype. It's all about how to get your word out and be noticed. There's so many projects, you have to be noticed. And one of the things we've done, we hired Key's, we brought in Key, as in Key Difference Media. Key, Mr. Key from Forward Protocol, has been in the industry since 2013, and he has made some people extremely successful. And he doesn't work with many projects. He takes one project very once in a while, not every day takes on a project, not even every year. So he's taken our Reveal full force. We put on massive money behind marketing, and we about to put not just our quarter mil we put in prior to GE. We just signed on with the most incredible marketing machine, which Mario Narfall, if you look at him, the young man has done extremely well. He's got a bunch of umbrellas, IBC, there's lawyer company, IBL, which is a lawyer company. He owns Athena, he owns NFT Technology, which is going public. They own 140 coins, which they invested seed or pre-seed, is a capital of interest. So he's got a huge umbrella, and he's bringing his IBC and NFT tech, which we did the partner share for, and we are partners with, and he's our top advisor. He's actually bringing his marketing engine prior to TG and post TGE for us. 39 KOLs waiting from Mr. Key's side, which is key opinion leaders. We got right now we're on Yahoo, Bitcoin News, so many Bitcoinists. We're going into Bloomberg and a bunch of other ones that we're going to be posting. We're on Yahoo, which is great, and Cointelegraph. So these are the things we're getting our message out, but we also understand we have done things a little differently. Our people have communities. We've talking to people that brought in communities, Singapore community, Vietnamese community, Hungarian community. These guys have big influence, and we've been able to bring them on early on, and they've been bringing on their communities. And once this thing goes live, they will head up all their people, and they will get the word out for us. So we understand it's easier to have an army of people shouting out from the rooftops what your message is, instead of going out there in sorry, I had a call coming in New York City, Times Square, trying to shout. No one's going to hear you. But imagine you had so many different people with megaphones on top rooftops shouting the same message. We understand marketing, and we put in a lot of money, time, and key opinion leaders and our advisors. And one of the things we're doing is the same thing here as well. I'm going to close off that question with this: is we have gone on in front of our partners and been able to do AMAs, cross-pollination, cross-promotion, and wonderful things. And our advisors always hitting up their communities as well. So that's been our most successful method of marketing.
Hey guys, I see a question here. It says non-crypto users are very important for mainstream adoption. How are you planning to attract non-crypto users towards your project? Is there any upcoming partnerships that will bring non-crypto users and real use case? It's a phenomenal question by Kuaka Jambi. So, first part of that question, one of the things that I've realized is that no matter how good your project is, if you want to live with the classes, you got to appeal to the masses. So as much as I'd love to just stay in the degen space and stay with those that have, that are just hardcore crypto and NFT enthusiasts, the future, as Gary Vee will tell you, NFTs are going to be everywhere. Where you go to a restaurant and it's the receipt, or it's going to be access to a game, and you go to tickets, or access pass to get into anything. It makes a really good utility as an access pass, as an example. But the future, when we look at the adoption rate, it's really about advertising, guys. I hate to say it, it's all about influence and exposure, and it's all about the brand. It's about the brand, it's about brand recognition. And believe it or not, it costs anywhere from $100 to $250 million to make a recognizable brand if the name of the brand is not inherent inside of the actual name. So like if you're Google or you're Skype or you're, a name that nobody knows, it takes quite a bit of money to build out a brand. If you have something in your brand, like EcoCREDIT is a great example. It's eco and it has to do with credits, and it's easy to.
I love that brand.
Love the brand. It's about carbon credits, and it's an easy flip in understanding the brand. Reveal, we're revealing something. It's easy for us to say that we're going to reveal you if you're a scam or a fraud, and we're going to reveal you if you're real. All will be revealed is our tagline. So we're doing a huge awareness campaign above and beyond the crypto community in the major publications over the next year with major PR, major media publications, major influencer networks that are outside of the crypto community that will be leveraged, that we will be digging into, tapping into. I believe that tap rooting is extremely important in regards to your networks. And me and Mo and our partners have massive networks that we're able to tap into as well, outside of, in the crypto community, but outside of the crypto community, which we're really excited about. And the second part of it is there any upcoming partnerships? Over the next 60 days, we plan on having close to 100, if not over 100 partnerships. As Mo mentioned earlier, we have 52 signed, and some of the partnerships that we have allow us to be able to access their communities, such as EcoCREDIT is one, but two, we're building metaverse partners, such as Youthiverse and TCG World and Blockchain Valley and Metaverse, all the Metaverse, and I can go on. And these metaverses are going to be bringing huge communities that are outside of the crypto space into the world. Yeah. And then gaming platforms that are working with bridging AAA games into reward-based models that'll bring the whole gaming community that can come into the space, and so on. So it's all about awareness and exposure, influence, and that's what we're really focused on. So I hope that answers that question.
Is absolutely key. I know Mr. Crypto C said he wants to do a voice question. Is that okay, Ray? He asked if he could ask only Crypto C. He asked if he could have a voice question. If you allow him to do that, we're okay with it.
Sure, we'll go ahead and get him unmuted here. All right, Crypto C, you are good to go.
Mr. Crypto C, can you hear us?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I have a question. I have looked at many similar projects to that. So, can you please provide what makes your project different from other projects and what makes you special compared to your competitors? This is my question.
Yeah, great question,
sure,
by the way.
I can.
Yeah, let me touch on it very quickly. Then you could go on and touch up on it a little bit later. What I wanted to say is that's a good question because, first of all, what do you look at? We don't have any direct competitors, which is really key. Whether that say someone's not going to copy us or we will not have in the near future, I can't tell you that. But we understand what Ray Kroc said the best. We can innovate faster than they can copy. So that's a really great thing. And you know what? What we just talked about is the differentiator of Reveal, not just the technology. The technology is great. We're going to protect people in metaverse. We're going to protect people with NFTs. We're going to even have later on after 2024, we're looking at a security-centric blockchain as well that is in the talks. We haven't started it, but is in talking with ourselves. We understand that right now, what makes us different is what Adam said is our brand. And the branding Reveal, having more than 52 signed partnerships, having advisors that are top of their game. T from Forward Protocol that has 300 partners that has been in for since 2013. Mario Narfal, one of the youngest under 30 top influencers and the biggest faces in the industry. Uh, Enzo Wolf, this young man's been able to accumulate a fortune and been able to do some huge things. 85,000 hours logged in the metaverse. He owns a Bitcoin safe house, 42 supers. Coming back to Mr. Michael Mukadari, being a bona fide billionaire, 1100th richest man in the world, one of the top best investors in the world from Forbes. That's a big thing. Also coming into our VCs, coming back onto our partners, coming back to Mr. Ray Buckton and your community, being able to get in front of different communities, being able to have these as a backbone is great, because you could have the greatest project. We have one of the most incredible ecosystems that we are building with Mall of the Metaverse, owning 1 million square foot that we can build up to. And REV3AL is going to have a big part in save with that. So I haven't seen anybody that has as many partnerships, as many recognitions, as many advisors. The team's top notch. And the thing is, the technology is what's icing on the cake. So by saying that, I don't know who else has done 52 partnerships, who else has as wise as we have, and been able to put so much, such short time together. So with that, I believe that's our differentiator. And I haven't seen anybody that's close this year that's even launched, that's anything close to us before launch.
Right, and I can add to that. And by the way, those are absolutely the key points, right? We have amazing partners. We're doing everything the right way. But one of the things, a major differentiator, is that we're blockchain agnostic, and our technology is not reliant on any other companies that we've, such as Centerprime or Pastel Networks or some of these other ones that are out there. They're all doing some kind of security at a blockchain level. They're not doing it prior to the IPFS, prior to the minting process, and they're also not thinking about the future, where things are going in regards to protecting the metaverse and where the future of that is headed. And we always believe in skating where the puck is going to be, not where the puck is at, like Wayne Gretzky said. And that's what we are doing. We're making sure that we don't stay complacent. We know that although plagiarism is the best flattery, we're not looking for being somebody that everybody just copies because it's super easy, and then now they run my bias. We plan on being the Kleenex of the tissue industry, right? You don't say tissue, you say Kleenex. REV3AL will be that standard, like we said, Norton, and that's why you guys don't really know the names of the ones I just mentioned, because you've never heard of them, and the ones that you might know, we're probably not aware of either. So I hope that answers your question.
These are fantastic questions, absolutely. I think we have time for two more. We have some really great ones in the chat there, so if you guys want to pick your two favorites out of those, we'd love to get those answered for the community. Wish we had time to answer every single one of those, but with that in mind, I know you guys, your time is incredibly valuable, and we're all incredibly busy, so super excited to see what more information we can glean.
Absolutely. I'm looking at one we already answered, is the partnerships. We already answered that. Please use text for MA. Partnerships, backings, we just went over that. Can you explain the main vision of your project? How has the ideal? We explained that. Yeah, the vision, very quickly, the vision of the project, we're looking to become the gold and standard of security. People think security.
Make sure you mention, Mo, make sure you mention which question is coming from, because you have to say like who it is,
okay.
just so you know.
So Mr. Arthur Shelby, has the REV3AL IDO already taken place? And what REV3AL and EcoCREDIT technology overlap? So we have been in private 2, and we're going into the launch pads at the IDO launch, which is right now. I'm not sure if Adam said we have some allocation private 2, maybe for people that are part of this maybe what your ecosystem. I'm not sure what I don't do that part, but we do understand there's I don't mean by what overlap, technology overlap. I'm not sure what that means. Let's choose another
I
question.
think what you're saying is that how are we partnering together? And pretty simply, I think we answered it earlier, but what it means is
Yeah, we
that
did answer that
we're
earlier
going
for sure.
to be authenticating we're going to be authenticating the NFT validation authenticity of the carbon.
So I have a question from Kaka Jambi. Promoters are very important, and and to popularize your product. So do you have great promoters? Absolutely. What we have is promoters galore. We have massive promoters. We have 39 key opinion leaders and influencers ready to go 4 days before our launch, and we have just got word and got accepted to tier 1 exchange, tier 1.5 exchange, and one of the top tier exchanges in the world. We can't say which one. However, so once that we get the email for the date, those influencers and key opinion leaders will be going hard to promote us. So that's a great question.
Absolutely, and these are
one more question.
So
sure.
one more question. You know what? I'm just you pick a question, Adam. I just want to answer this really quickly. You could use our technology anywhere in the world. There's no restrictions, as Wahab Khan said. He asked, can the REV3AL technology be used anywhere in the world and only in certain countries? In every country, however, in our pre-sale right now, when we're in the TG, we're not opening it up to US resident. So I just wanted to clarify that. But you go ahead, Adam. Pick the last question.
Yeah, I'm kind of between two different questions here. Let me just see which one sounds better. I'm going to answer this security question because I think it's more important. Alexa Harris, she asked, due to the security vulnerabilities and hacking events that we've heard frequently and recently, people can no longer trust most projects. REV3AL Tech has important plans in the crypto world, so how does it secure its own system? Should investors be comfortable with this? And that's a great question. You have the cybersecurity background. It was probably the number one concern I have with DeFi projects, smart contracts. And by the way, to give you guys a little education on cybersecurity or security in general, most attacks happen from a social perspective. They usually happen from someone that's a disgruntled employee, which obviously you have to have very strict security policies from the internal side of it, as well as your cybersecurity. Even socially, somebody goes and logs into a network from a Starbucks, as an example. Somebody doesn't log in with a VPN when they're accessing a centralized server. There's different ways that people can access and make, unfortunately, the security of a network vulnerable. It's not normally coming directly through the front door. No one's hacking directly through the front of Bitcoin's 256-bit encryption. Nobody's hacking cryptography. They're trying to hack the back end at a wallet, at a low level, at the areas that maybe they didn't have a good enough audit on a smart contract, or they were involved in something to do with the development of it, and it leaked out that they had access to write in some code that could reverse it. To give you guys an example, the first DAO ever I was involved with Ethereum when it became Ethereum Classic was because DAO, which was the first DAO that ever happened in the Ethereum chain, they wrote in code. It was vulnerable. There really wasn't any way to audit, if you will, contracts back then. And they wrote in code to just refund it back to a wallet. And they literally took from a $100 million raise, they took like $50 million. And Ethereum had to make a point, had to make a call, a judgment call. There was no real governance at that time in the Ethereum Foundation. And they decided to go with Ethereum new chain. They forked the chain and they stayed with the old chain as Ethereum Classic and the new chain as Ethereum for some history. But the key is that we're going to have redundancy set up. We're going to have multiple different I don't want to give away, or I'll just say interlocks, if you will, or ways that you cannot access it from the smart contract, where's the biggest vulnerability in the space. We are prior to the smart contract. Our technology authenticates at a creation level and outside of the contract level. So therefore, we are centralizing part of that with redundancies in place, with multiple protocols to protect the integrity of people's data. In addition, we're not putting anything of a major value in the initial security of repositories, which are more of encrypted metadata, if you will, that it would be useless to the average person unless they had access to the other keys to unlock it. Think of it like an abacus, except to have multiple things, multiple layers to unlock the code. And even if you have 4 or 5 of them, if you don't have the other one, you're not going to get it. And so we're making it so it's a very difficult system to unravel. And the multiple layered levels of security make it more and more and more difficult for somebody to come in and crack what we've done as a security company. And so I hope that answers your question and gives you guys comfort.
Absolutely. It definitely answers the question of who watches the Watchmen. And you guys are absolutely the team for the job based on your acumen, your background, and your deep understanding of not only cybersecurity outside of blockchain, but taking that and translating it to what we need in the industry, both today, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, and going forward as we interpolate these innovations that are constantly happening. Well, this has been fantastic and incredibly informative. I know it's been incredibly enriching for the EcoCredit community, and I, for one, am personally emboldened by the synergies, the value overlap, and just what you guys are doing in general. I know I'm incredibly excited, as is the community, to be working together and be building fantastic things, both independently, but with each other as well, with that overlap and where it makes sense. So, Mo, Adam, thank you guys so much for taking the time today.
It was really our pleasure. And we really, truly know that your time is the most valuable thing that you guys have. And the fact that you guys shared it with us today is a blessing. We're humbled, we're honored, and we obviously thank Ray as absolutely an incredible communicator, advisor, understanding. And by the way, just so everybody knows, Ray is coming on board officially. I'll let you guys know as an advisor for the Reveal project as well, and not just we're not just partnering, but he's also
Nice.
coming on board as an advisor. So I want to give a big congratulations to Ray and
Mr.
doing that, which is
Ray.
exciting. Very
We're
exciting.
excited, buddy.
Amazing,
That's how much we
amazing project.
appreciate you. We appreciate
Yes.
your community. Like Adam said, we are a tight-knit family, and we believe you definitely are. With your whole team, you guys are stand-up, quality, decent human beings that are going to change the world, and that's what really attracted me to your. When we talked to Adam, you guys are giving something back. You want to do something positive. You want to better the world, not just make another meme coin, with some great graphics, make some good gains, and make some community. But you guys are actually doing something that is going to put a dent in the world, because eventually you're making a change, you're making a stand, you're making a change, you're making a change for the good, not for the bad, and in the real world, not just some algorithmic mathematical formula. You're actually going to do some good in the world. So we're very blessed and grateful, guys, to be speaking with you. Thank you for giving us your time. We're grateful you hear a lot about us. We want to hear a lot about you. Your success is our success, and we are looking forward to long-term marriage.
Absolutely. The feeling is 100% mutual. Looking forward to all of the synergies. And you guys heard that right. We're going to be working quite heavily with the Reveal protocol and Adam and Mo going forward. And as the teams expand, everything that includes. So thank you guys again for your time today. Everyone, thank you for attending and for your wonderful questions. And we are looking very much forward to doing this again at some point in the near future. And keep an eye out for some more exciting announcements coming down the pipe as it pertains to Reveal, EcoCredit, and all of the wonderful things that entails. But for now, you guys have a wonderful
Bye,
remainder of the
everyone.
week. Adios.
Take care, everyone. Thank you so much.